All right, so favorite section? My favorite section of the Pacific Crest Trail is probably northern Washington. After Snoqualmie Pass, it just gets so lush and beautiful, and the wooded areas are really nice, and the alpine areas are really nice, so it's just really nice. Section that feels most surreal every time you go through. Well, the Sierra is always so wild after going through all of the desert. um, just having the mountains just get so much bigger so quickly is always very exciting and surreal. In your opinion, what is the most underrated part of the PCT? Northern California, just because it's probably the lowest rated part, but there's a lot of great highlights through that area. But I think a lot of times people rate Northern California as negatively as they do is because that's kind of the part of the trip where you no longer have something that immediate to look forward to, and it's not necessarily like the most fun anymore to be on trail for over 1,000 miles. After 1,000 miles, a lot of people probably get what they want out of the hike, and then you start to question, why am I still doing this when there's so many other things you could be doing with your time? But Northern California on its own is pretty cool. How did you find not having a camera and just journaling? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I actually did start with the camera just in case, because it's easier to send something back than it is to get something sent to you. So I started with a camera. I figured I would send it back, and I did. When I was actually at the southern terminus, I tried doing a selfie video thing, and that lasted 10 seconds before I just. Here we go. Nothing to do but walk, I guess. Feels weird taking a selfie video. I haven't done this in years. So I'm not going to do it anymore. So it felt very natural, I guess I would say. Your opinion on starting early in March versus starting later in April or May? Almost guaranteed to be snow up high in all the places in the desert before you even get to the Sierra, and then you're going to get to the Sierra way too early. You're probably just going to be spending tons of money in town. It's good to be able to start slow and pace yourself, but even so, starting in April sounds way better to me than March. But I love starting in May personally, but that's probably not for everybody, especially late May. How much time do you generally spend at camp not sleeping any given day? I probably spend about 10 to 15 minutes in camp not sleeping every day, just enough time to fall asleep and wake up, basically. Untie my shoes and tie my shoes, get my sleeping stuff out and packed up. Yeah, 15 minutes to half an hour generally. I guess if I wrote in my journal that night, then I would do that, but I written it during the day too, so yeah, I don't spend time in camp. It's not fun for me, especially as a solo hiker. It's just kind of pointless, and yeah, I don't eat dinner. I just go to sleep. Has your reasoning for wanting to thru hike changed over the years? This past year, I did thru hike again, and the reason for that was to try and recapture some of is basically to try and get my mojo back, which it did. And just because I wanted to do it. And it seems like I had all this baggage associated with the Pacific Crest Trail, and I just wanted to do it and really be present on the trail and experience it. I don't know, hard to say. My reasoning is always changing for why I want to thru hike. I mean, when I had a gear company, my reasoning for thru hiking often was a little confused in that I feel like I had to prove something a little bit more. I feel like I had to earn my time out there. There was a lot of influences basically that made me feel like I had to do something to prove that I was special, and I still feel that somewhat, but it doesn't. It's a little bit less external and a little more internal now. So, yeah. What drives you to share your experiences with us? Oh. What drives me to share my experiences with others? Well, I haven't had a lot of drive to share my experiences anymore. Originally, I didn't really think much about strangers seeing the videos I posted because that wasn't what it was. I've been making videos for most of my life now. Since middle school, I started editing videos, and my first big purchase of my life from lawn mowing money was a camcorder, like a mini DV tapes. So with hiking, once I had a camera that could shoot video again for these long trips, I just naturally shot stuff. And then why did I want to share it? At a certain point, I shared it for the positive attention that I got for it. And then I no longer want to share it because the trips that I do are so sacred to me. And by sharing them, it's somehow, yeah, hard to say. If you could make one item disappear from everyone's pack on trail, what would it be? I would remove sit pads from everyone's pack. Yeah, the sit pad. Alternatively, if you could add one item to everyone's pack, what would it be? I think scissors. I really like scissors. They're just so much better than knives. I'm not a knife guy. I feel like it's just a vibe thing. I'm just not into the knife vibe. Never have been. Like, I use them to cook, like, cut up vegetables, but not on trail. Best restaurant of the trail. They have really good vegetarian options at this cafe in Tuolumne Meadows, which is probably one of my favorite trail towns. And it's not even a town, it's just a tent in Yosemite National Park. But it's probably one of my favorite trail towns because I don't really do the trail town thing when I'm hiking by myself. So, yeah. Oh, no. Best restaurant might be... It's close. The one in Tuolumne Meadows is very good. But at Snoqualmie Pass, there's the pizza place. I think it's called Pie for the People. I got this sweet potato, goat cheese, sort of, like, oh, it was a good pizza. I wish I could have had two. I probably should have, but I didn't. That might be the best one. The one at Tuolumne Meadows is just such a good vibe, though, because everyone's so stoked to be in Yosemite National Park. And there's a lot of thru hikers there. There's a lot of section hikers and just people driving through Yosemite, and it's just a good time. What are some of your favorite foods on trail? Okay, well, as far as treats go, I like peanut butter M&Ms and symphony bars. For more sustaining food, I love having dehydrated beans, sometimes with some chili mix in it. And then also I usually put nutritional yeast in it. And then I really love fruit leathers because it's a good way to get sugar without a lot of the extra stuff. I mean, sugar on trail is just really good. Oh, ramen this past year was really good. I really needed the salt when I was sweating so much. And I started eating like 4 or 5 packets of ramen a day, and that was really good. So those are my favorite foods. How to eat more calories on trail? You really want to not eat dinner because it's already too late. Like, my strategy for eating is I usually front load it pretty heavily so that I actually fuel myself for the day, and then peter off so that I can go to sleep really well and not have the calories keep me awake. And also, when you concentrate your food into meals, it's really hard to eat like 1,000 or 2,000 calories in one sitting every few hours, or I don't know how long, but it's really easy to eat like, a couple bars an hour, or just like a couple handfuls of trail mix or nuts every once in a while. It's a lot easier to just eat throughout the day to get your calories, and it will allow your body to process it a little better.